Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to get started. Danse, everybody. My name is Corin Lightning Earl. I am the legal director of Wakoto and Law and Governance Lodge. Today, Wakoto and Law and Governance Lodge is going to lead you through a wisdom workshop. So we're going to have a little bit of an interactive session. So if you're at a table in the back and you're just here to observe, that's awesome. We're going to be using this purple sheet as a focal point. So there will be a point where we'll ask people to come a little bit closer so you can see it, but we're going to be gathering some information from everybody today, and then that information will be turned over to the Special Interlocutor's office. So we do have a slideshow just to start with. Ta-da! Yeah. So I'll just introduce myself a little bit. So I'm from Treaty 6. I'm a lawyer with Wakoto and Law and Governance Lodge, and this is my third gathering that I've attended with the Special Interlocutor's Office. And I'm very thankful to be here today, and I'll let my... Go ahead.
I was going to check if that worked. And I'm Hadley Friedland. I'm the academic director at Wakoto and Law and Governance Lodge in Treaty 6, and this is my second gathering to attend.
You want to talk a little about what we do? Sure. There you go.
One of the things that we heard and listened to over the last couple days, and especially I was thinking when John Burroughs was talking, if people listened to him, was the idea that Indigenous laws are living, and that one of the ways that they live is application, is people interpreting, bringing them together, and then also applying them to what is happening today. And some of the work that we do with communities is doing that work when communities are wanting to do that work of lifting up their laws and doing that revitalization. So our goals are to uphold Indigenous laws and governance. So we support Indigenous communities' goals to identify, articulate, and implement their own laws. We also like to develop, gather, and amplify wise practices, promising methods, and research tools. So we have them on our website. We have workshops where people come and gather and are able to share their wisdom with each other. And then we produce practical legal resources and public legal education about some of that Canadian law stuff. And we're based on the call to action number 50 for Indigenous Law Institutes, having that safe space for that revitalization work.
So what we're going to lead you through is one of our workshop methods that we use when we're gathering information from communities. So it's a community engagement tool that we find works well when we're dealing with sensitive topics, or we want to make sure that everybody has a voice or able to put their information in. And so we call it a wisdom workshop. And so we have a magic purple screen over there. We'll see how magic it is today for us. And we're going to take you through what a process would look like. We might not get through the whole process, but we'll finish it up, and then we'll submit it as a report to the Special Interlocutor's Office as part of this workshop. Because we only have until 4 o'clock, we might be a little bit limited on time, but we'd like to just show you a process, but also give you an opportunity to hear your thoughts and your wisdom about the question that we're going to be asking you today. So in our guidelines, we work with everybody. We believe that everybody has wisdom. We need everybody's wisdom for the wisest results. There are no wrong answers. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And each person will hear others and be heard. So those are the rules when we're engaging with community, because we do believe that everybody at your tables has wisdom and everybody can contribute to the questions that we're going to be asking today. And then we'll be able to gather those, and we'll be able to kind of sort them out, name the issues and name the categories, and really able to give that information to the Office of the Special Interlocutor. So we're going to ask a question, and I'll put it back up, and we'll go through it, and then I'll tell you the guidelines. So you should all have paper at your table, like a 5x7 paper. Everybody will start with one. You'll need your own individual paper and pen. And then for the second part, we'll bring you some more. So the Wisdom Workshop focus question today is, what do you see for justice and reparations for missing children? This is one of the questions that the special interlocutor has been asked to gather information on. And so as part of that process, we're going to be asking you to tell us what your thoughts are. So
And
the
does
first...
this-
Oh, go ahead.
Does this work?
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
I was just going to add, this is a big question, and this is one of the big questions that communities are grappling with. And one of the purposes of approaching it like this is that idea, like Corin said, everybody has wisdom. We need everybody's wisdom from the whole community, including that range of differences. So when we're thinking about justice and reparations, it's not necessarily somebody else's definition of that. It's really asking within the community, and it's okay if it's a range, because that would make sense. But what does that look like for people? What do people imagine that is, to be able to have a real sense of that? And that's really being able to draw on everybody's wisdom. And you can do this, you can have youth at the table, you can have elders at the table, you can have 40-year-olds at the table if you want to, no. But you can have everybody there contributing to what they see justice and reparations looking like, rather than having it come from one source or having it come from outside.
And so everybody's answer is going to be different. And it doesn't mean that and nobody has a wrong answer. There's no wrong answers here. It's about, what do you see? You as an individual, or from your community, or it can be both. So your views will be represented here. And so we will see some differences, and it doesn't mean that because one person thinks one thing that they're wrong. In order to get a full idea of what this is that's why we need everybody's wisdom. Everybody's wisdom coming together on this very hard question, big question, so that we can present that to the special interlocutor and say, this is what this group sees. And it will look very different. And that's okay. That's why we're looking forward to everybody participating. And if you're at a table by yourself, you may want to join a table, because group work alone won't work. But just go make some friends and get to know some people as we work our way through this question. So before we start working on the question, we're going to set some rules, and then I'll put this question back up on the screen. So on your cards, what you're going to do is you're going to spend 5 minutes just on your one card by yourself with a pen. You're going to spend 5 minutes brainstorming different ideas. You're just going to write down 3 to 10 things, whatever speaks to you about the question. So write them down however you like. So just write down 3 to 5 to 10 answers to this question. So just individually to yourself, writing on a sheet of paper. You don't have to share them with anybody yet.
And you can write, you can draw. If you think better memorizing, you can memorize these. But the idea is to take that time to look inside before speaking to other people, and really reflect on what this means to you and what aspects are important to you.
So we'll give you 5 minutes to just brainstorm the ideas on your paper. If you need paper, put your hand up, and our assistant will bring you some more cards. Okay, here's the question up.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next step of the wisdom workshop. And again, we're doing this together, but we're also sort of letting you know that this is a way that you can also do that in community, to talk about some of these complex or difficult topics. So what we want you to do next is to look at your list and just star your top 2. The 2 ones that you've written down, so you might have written down 10, you might have written down 4, and just pick 2 of those that really stand out to you. And part of this is just when we talk about those overarching guidelines, is that idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. No one person has to hold this all, so just pick two that really stand out from your list. That's right. Okay, and then what we're going to do is ask you to share with each other those two ones that you've picked. So we're going to do 4 minutes, and you're going to have 4 minutes to talk amongst yourselves. And you can see we're shortening this a bit to get through it in the timeline. We would take a longer time if we were doing this in community, but we'll take 4 minutes just so you get a sense of this, where each person can share the two ideas that really stood out from their list with each other. Okay, we're going to move on to the next step, and I'll acknowledge we're again rushing you through. We're just giving you kind of a taste of this method, and to see how it would work to discuss these really complex, difficult ideas. The next step in this process, you've shared. You can see we're shortening instead of 3 to 5. We said 2. And we're gonna shrink the next one too, just so we get through this in the time frame. We're gonna ask each group to share 3? Yeah. 3 clear ideas. So Alice is walking around with cards, and each group should have 3 cards, and pick somebody to be your recorder. If you may have heard things that are in common, so pick your 3 clear ideas. There might be some duplication, but you also still want that range. That diversity and range of views is valuable. That's showing the wisdom in this group here, and put the key ideas on the cards. Now here's a trick for the next part. These rules are really important just logistically. You want to use 3 to, I'll say 7 words per card. We always, but you cannot use less than 3 words. You want at least 3 words to describe your idea, and I say you could go up to 7. 1 idea per card, so you don't want to have a card that says this and that. You just want this or that. Write horizontal. So Alice, can you hold up the cards in the right direction? Yeah, so write in that direction rather than the other direction. And use big, clear writing. So pick the person at your table who says they have like that. Pick the person at your table that has the nicest writing, and write those ideas. So 3 clear ideas. We know there's more, but pick 3 clear ideas, 3 to 7 words per card, horizontal, big, clear writing, more than 3 words or more. Alice is a lovely young lady right here. She's going to collect your cards. And then we're going to move over and do something at the purple wall. So I invite people to turn your chairs or bring your chairs and come closer to the purple wall. Can we go to the next slide? Because the next step is going to be at this purple wall. We're going to put some things up on the purple wall. So you want to come as close as you can. So that first part of the wisdom workshop, we call that wisdom gathering. And now we're going to move to the second part, which is wisdom building, which is bringing together the wisdom that you are sharing and building something with it. So what we've done is collected them and kind of shuffled them up. is also a good way if topics are sensitive or things are a bit fraught, because people are able to share without necessarily having their name connected with it or having to share if they're a little bit shy, but we can still get ideas up there. So this next step is I'm going to put about 10 of these up on the board and I'm going to read them out loud, just so we have that clarification. And then we're going to look for pairs, ones that seem similar or have connections to one another, okay? So just randomly, you guys saw my great shuffling job. Education for everyone. Do we have the symbols? Understanding and acceptance of our laws. Ask what families want. Research and respect of our culture. There's something below that says manach to win. I don't know what that means, but what does that mean?
Did she say it right?
Oh, okay. Okay. Manatsuan. Federal government provide money, First Nations provide financial report only. Truth. Who, how, when. Connection between elders and youth. I'm going to put 2 more on for now and then we'll do the next part, but we'll put these all up. Ceremonies, songs, speeches, and feasts. Healing for the children, families, and communities and nations. I'll do one more. Establish protocols for ceremonies. So we have more to go and we have more being written out here, but just for now, for those of you who have great eyesight or are close, do you see any of these that could be pairs that are talking about something similar that you would put together? What's that? Okay, you want to tell me them? Okay, so healing, ceremonies, establish protocols. Okay. Any others that people see here that would pair together, that would have connections? Okay. Education and truth. Any other connections? And we'll put more up. Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, so we're getting some pairs and even a 3 of a kind. And we'll put up a few more now, and we're going to look for the same thing, those connections. Oh.
Asking families what they want with full research, because they're actually doing the research to find out.
Okay. Okay, sure. Great. Okay, I'll put a few more up and we'll see, again, connections. Accountability for what they did. First Nations controlled process. Land-based compensation. Prosecution of abusers, including internationally, and the example is France. funding by Canada of investigations and healing. Jurisdiction, Indigenous laws, control, and decisions. And I'm just going to put the rest of these up and then we'll do this. Listen to the survivors' truth. Criminal charges to all involved. Canada admits genocide. Core funding, no strings for healing. Accountability and acknowledgement by organizations. So we have quite a few up there, and I'll ask the same question. Are we seeing pairs or threes of a kinds where you see some of these fitting together or connecting in some way? Yes. Okay, yes. Okay, here? Okay, awesome. I'll put that together. And the funding, so there's a few funding ones. I'll move this over here. This one. Core funding, no strings for healing. And where's the other one? Of investigations and healing, okay. Okay, so accountability. I'm going to be moving these here. Where do we see, is that prosecution of abusers would fit there too? Accountability and acknowledgement of organizations. Criminal charges for all involved. Canada admits genocide. Okay. I'm gonna start moving these sort of in line here. These three were together. The research and respect of our culture, understanding and acceptance of our laws, ask what families want. And we may decide it moves a little bit. Jurisdiction, so that would go here with these ones, do you think, with law? Or is that a separate one? Do we move laws and jurisdiction? With okay. So with the ceremonies and laws together here. Would understanding and acceptance of our laws move over there then with those? Okay. Then asking what families want. What about connections between elders and youth? Is that its own, or does it go with one of these at this point? It would go over here. Okay. And First Nations controlled process. Same. Land-based compensation, is that its own, or they're all connected in some level, but so I hear funding, I hear justice. One thing you can do if it means different things is you can always copy one, and sometimes there are things that go in more than one place. But for now, maybe we'll put it, maybe we'll put that under the funding for now, but you could double it. We have more. Okay. So we'll put up some more that we're seeing coming here. Honor, acknowledgement, and commemoration. Identify who they are. Hold community consultations. Ensure we get all the facts. Proper use of natural law. Oh, there's two there. All missing children must be found. Compensation for families. So I'll pause there. Oops. And I'll ask the same question. Do you see connections either between these ones or where they go somewhere else? Okay, would all fit under that research. Okay, so the STAR, the ensuring, the compensation for families' anguish. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that identify who they are. All missing children must be found. Hold community consultations. What about that proper use of natural law? Would that fit under the STAR? Would you say? Okay. And honor, acknowledgement, and commemoration. Where would this fit? Okay. Okay, oops. And this is actually all one, so I'm just going to move this over here a bit so we know those are all one. Okay, we have a few more. Indigenous jurisdiction over decisions. Capacity and resources, money. National program for community healing and education. Money to families to continue healing. Government, churches, and IRS staff referred to the International Criminal Court. Follow the scientific evidence. Accountability, churches, and government. History for families and child. New history for all schools. I'm going to put them all up now because we'll. Personal Indigenous counselor in home. Cleaned, I'm not sure about that second word, corp, land for each. I'm not sure that second word.
Corporate.
Oh, corporate land for each. Okay. Unmarked graves must be identified. That goes under research, okay. Trials for those responsible. That one would probably fit with that accountability, the things under the tree, do you say? Treat the sites as crime scenes and funds to bring children home. So if we were going to see where these ones go, we're doing the same sorting, the same wisdom building, figuring out where these go. And maybe there's new categories, or maybe they fit under and you can just name the symbol. So accountability, churches and government, under the tree. think, oh no, that's funding. So this is a tree. Clean corporate land for each. Funding. What about national program for community healing and education? Yeah. Maybe here for now, education for everyone. Yeah, but you're right, it could go in a few different ones. Indigenous jurisdiction over, yeah. New history for all schools. Over here. Follow the scientific evidence. The sun. Personal Indigenous counselor in home. What's that? Healing. Governments, churches, IRS staff referred to the International Criminal Court. Accountability. Oh, actually, this one can go here. History for families and child. That's a good point. Is whoever wrote this, could you clarify? If you're comfortable. And okay. Okay. That would be amazing. Okay, yes. So where would you say that fit? That creating the history, would that under the moon? Okay. Oh, or healing, sorry, I heard, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So 3 more, and then we'll move to the next stage. Capacity, resources, and money. I'm going to assume that goes under the, funds to bring people. The last 2, I think, are funds and money to families to continue healing. Okay. Yeah.
Could be divided into 2.
Okay.
One for healing and one for actually our laws and our ceremonies and, I don't know.
Sure. And that happens as we start putting things up, right? Because they're all connected. So I think that would really make sense. And you're welcome to come up and sort if you like. But for now, let's do that, and we might. It might make sense to let's see. And would ceremonies be with healing, or would they be? They'd be both, yeah. So I'm just going to actually move. Okay. Actually, we can do that. So, because of course what we would do if we had more time is we'd copy it, right? Yeah, we know it. Okay, let's do that. And I think the crime scenes goes over accountability, I think. But we'll see. Okay. So what we're doing in this stage, you can see that we're starting to build those connections and see what we have in common. We're not going to get through all of these, but the next part of this, maybe I'll turn over to you because you do it better. I overthink this one.
So the next part is we're going to name the categories. So we have the pound category. We have my tree. I'm not an artist. We have my moon, my sun, the star, and the @ sign. So you have all these different categories. So next, we're going to create a title for them. So we're going to name them. And so to name them, it needs to be an action word, right? Or a verb. Yeah. Oh, no, that's only for strategies. Yeah. Okay, so the name can be, but we want to give it a title. So maybe we'll start, usually we start with the longest. So we'll go with the sun. So I'll just read them out, and then if you could think about what would a title be for this category. So first is follow the scientific evidence, research and respect of our culture, ask what the family wants, ensure we get all the facts, identify who they are, all missing children must be found, hold community consultations, unmarked graves must be identified. So we're thinking of a title for this category. So we're going to name it. So follow the scientific evidence, research and respect our culture, ask what families want, ensure we get all the facts, identify who they are, all missing children must be found, hold community consultations, unmarked graves must be identified.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. You're like,
Hear when they're talking.
I see. That makes sense. So that truth, who, how, and when, is it truth seeking? I mean, so would that work if we took that title? Because sometimes there's a card that seems to capture that. If we took that truth, who, how, and when, and put that up as a title for that? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, pathways to truth. Yeah. Does that work? So
Pathways to truth? Oh, I work now.
Woohoo.
Sorry, I just can't hear sometimes. So are we good with pathways to truth? Yeah? Oral history?
I think oral history might be an important part of that. Like that might be an additional card underneath there, like how important it is to be learning from oral history as well. And that's something we can do. Sometimes that becomes apparent. We're like, oh, we want to add something. So I think we could add that.
Going on, you're not only listening to the oral history of survivors that knew some children that were all of a sudden gone. Something happened to them, they didn't return. And then the written history are the archives, the archival work, right? So there's two types of research going on there.
So we can call it Pathways to Truth for now, and we can come back. We can sit with that title for a little bit, but we're going to add the listening to oral history on there.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have time for one more? Or are we out?
Let's see how the rooms, people aren't coming in yet, so
Yeah,
we'll
that's
just
true.
continue.
Yeah.
So we'll do the next one, which is the pound sign or hashtag, as the kids say.
The first time someone called that hashtag, I was like, what are you talking about?
So hashtag or pound sign,
Depending on your age.
depending on, yeah. So I'll read them out and we'll think of a title for this one. So capacity plus resources plus money. Federal government provides money. First Nations provide financial support only. Core funding, no strings for healing. Funding by Canada of investigations and healing. Land-based compensation. Compensation for families anguished. Clean corporate land for each. Funds to bring children home. Money to families for continued healing. So sometimes there's a magic one in here that can be a title.
Ooh, evergreen funding. Works. Evergreen funding. Connects. Makes sense for people.
Is everybody happy with that? We're going with it. While Hadley writes that down, we'll move on to tree. My awesome tree.
I wish this one was under tree.
Accountability, churches, government. Accountability for what they did. Criminal charges to all involved. Treat the sites as crime scenes. Government churches plus IRS staff refer to the International Criminal Court. Canada admits genocide. Prosecution of abusers, including internationally, example France. Trials for those responsible. Accountability and acknowledgement by organizations. I heard doctrine of discovery.
That would do justice to everyone. Receiving or rescinding.
Maybe I'll put that one in.
Oh, we can put that one down. Yep. We'll write that one down. Any, or is it just accountability? Accountability and acknowledgement? Accountability, acknowledgement, and I heard another word. We're good with accountability and acknowledgement?
Okay.
Do you want to add accountability, acknowledgement of
The truth?
of the of what?
Of the truth?
Of the truth? Yeah? We like it? We like it? Okay. We're going with it. All right. So we have 3 more. Should we try to get through them?
I don't know, people are coming back now. Maybe.
People are coming back in. Do you guys want to try go through the last 3 really quick? You guys will be my best students ever. Lawyers, when we do this with them, take forever.
It's true.
So we'll do the moon. Again, not an artist. Listen to survivors' truth. Truth, who, how, when. Education for everybody. National Program for Community Healing and Education. New History for all schools.
So I heard truth telling, telling the story. I heard education in there. Truth telling? Does that capture it? What? Okay.
Truth telling? We're going with it. Okay, we're under the star. So there's just 4 underneath the star. Jurisdiction, Indigenous law, control and decisions. First Nations controlled processes. Understanding and acceptance of our laws. Indigenous jurisdiction over decisions. Indigenous law. Respect Indigenous law. Okay. Respect Indigenous law.
The natural laws that were given in our territory.
Yeah, so we want Canada to acknowledge our laws and respect them and not treat them as sub-law or law adjacent. Okay. All right. Okay. The next one is the @ sign. History for families and child. Healing for children, families, communities, and nations. Honor, acknowledgement, and commemoration. Connection between the youth and elders. Personal Indigenous counselor in home. Proper use of natural law. Ceremony, songs, speeches, and feasts. Establish protocols for ceremony. Finding peace, pathways to healing. Protocol. Pardon? Cultural pathways to healing. Does that work? I see some smiling nods. Good job. All right. Good job, everybody. Give yourselves a hand. Now you guys are all going to buckle down for the evening and write this out in a report. No, just kidding. No, that's what we get to do. So what we will do, yeah. And that's good, but there is some other stuff about jurisdiction. And so if you're titling it just natural laws, are you limiting yourself if your community makes up new laws? Not makes up, but revitalizes some other laws.
Well, when you're talking about jurisdiction, that's there's a mix and match of colonial terms.
So we could take out Indigenous. Do you want to put respecting natural? Or do you just want to put respecting inherent laws?
Well, inherent already means natural.
Yeah.
So respecting the law.
Okay. Go ahead. Is everybody okay with the title becoming respecting natural laws? Yeah? Okay. All right. Okay. Easy fix. So now what we'll do is you're welcome, we'll leave it up and we're gonna take some pictures and we'll take it down once the session closes. And then we will write it up in a report and it'll go to the special interlocutor and it'll go in her report that they've been providing back to everybody. So thank you. And this is just an example of how you can approach conversations in community where there's lots of different views, but where you want everybody to have a voice, where everybody can be involved, from young to elders to everybody. It gets people's opinions in on very sensitive topics. So we do this with communities when we're talking about election laws, yikes, membership laws, yikes, and all sorts of other things. So it's just a tool that we wanted to share, but also be able to get that information from everybody to be able to turn that in. So you'll be able to see yourself in that report. So feel free to come take pictures. And yeah, thank you for having us. Last words?
No, thank you. And I mean, it's just amazing to hear the wisdom in this room, right? And get to hear from everybody. So it's a way of bringing that range and that wisdom from everybody in the community together to do these topics. So.
It's magic. It's natural
magic.
law. Just kidding.
We could tell you, but then no.
It's just a special wall, and then we have a special spray that we spray on the wall, and then it just. Whoosh.
Well, you guys are awesome. Thank you for getting us involved in your presentation.
Thank you guys for being
Well, thank
involved
you.
and participating. It makes it way easier for us.
Yeah.